There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. My name is Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, your host. Today is April 6th, 2022. We're here in the studio. COVID has passed, hopefully. And it's my great pleasure to welcome the following people: dog lovers, Tina Green, an attorney, Carol Augustyniak-Marcus, and Mal McCunney.
That's correct, McCunney.
McCunney. And Mal's going to lead us off because this is about a fundraiser for School on Wheels. And as you notice, we have some pups here who are going to be participating in this fundraiser. So keep it tuned. Mal, take it away.
Thank you so much, and we're so delighted to be here. This is a fundraiser that's happening on May 7th, and it's orchestrated by School on Wheels of Massachusetts. Our mission at School on Wheels of Massachusetts is to support children and youth that are impacted by homelessness, and we do that through educational services. So it's through one-on-one tutoring, mentoring, and providing school supplies and materials to help students with their academic, social, and emotional growth.
Some of you might have participated in Pack the Backpack. Is that what it is? Pack the Backpack? And thousands of these backpacks with school supplies are distributed to these students, these homeless students, every year. And I know my church has contributed backpacks, and I'm sure that's one of the things that you as the viewer can participate in. But you can also participate on May 7th. And tell us about May 7th. What's it going to be?
First, talking of backpacks, we give out backpacks and school supplies that are grade level to more than 6,000 students across Massachusetts every year.
6,000.
And one of the reasons we orchestrate things like Run, Walk on WAG, that's coming up on May 7th, is that most people don't realize that the average age of a homeless person in Massachusetts is 8 years old. And there are 24,000 children and youth that are impacted by homelessness in our state. So we believe that the way out of homelessness and to stop the cycle of homelessness is through education. So on May 7th, this is one of our flagship events. It's called Run, Walk, and Wag, and it's at Borderland State Park. It's a 5K run, a 2.8-mile walk, and it's a dog-friendly event. The last time we were live was 2 years ago. We've been virtual for the past 2 years. Our last live event, we had up to 70 dogs joining us. It was delightful. We have entertainment, refreshments, prizes. All the children receive a medal for participating, and the dogs will receive event neckerchiefs and get some pup cups along with the refreshments that the runners and walkers will get. So sponsorships are open. We have a number of people from the Eastern community that have been longtime supporters. Dennis Harkins and Kathy Adler founded this event several years ago, going back about 10.
Yes, totally.
About 10 or more years. Kyle Sousa from Oliver Ames, the cross-country division of Oliver Ames, helped set up the course. It's beautiful. It's a very majestic event that goes through the trails of Borderland, and Borderland couldn't be more accommodating. And the veterinary urgent care centers of Easton, the brand new, they just moved into town. They will be there as well with an Ask a Vet booth, and will be forming a team. We have about a dozen teams already formulated. We're looking for people to come on and formulate teams and get involved.
Great. And what is the cost for signing up?
It's $30 to register to run or to walk. Children 6 and under are free, and dogs are free. No charge for the pups.
Okay. So let's start with Tina. How did you get involved in, you have 2 dogs, and want to introduce them?
Sure, this is Scout, she's 10 years old. She's a black Labrador retriever, and this is Luna, she is 5 months old, still in training. Again, she's a black Labrador retriever. They both love to run and swim, and they enjoy Borderland, so it's a perfect race for them. My name's Tina Green. I'm an attorney in Brockton, Massachusetts, with Petropolis, Murray and Green. I'm also a board member of School on Wheels, and both Bay State Triathlon team, my triathlon team that I've been a member of since 2012, and Plymouth County Bar Association are both entering teams of runners and walkers with dogs and without dogs for this great event, supporting a good cause, supporting School on Wheels. I think I will be running it with Scout. Luna's a little too young to be running that far. But yes, we're looking forward to it. It's a great event.
Yes. So is Scout a veteran wagger, as they say?
She is not. She has not run this race before. She's run a few races, but she has not run this race. She's familiar with Borderland State Park, and she will really enjoy it.
Your dogs are so well behaved.
Well, one of them is. The other one's learning.
Well, I know, but 5 months old.
Thank you.
My
Thank you.
goodness.
Yes, she's a good girl.
Yeah. And Carol,
Yes.
tell us about your involvement with School on Wheels.
I've been involved with School on Wheels for over 10 years. I've been on the board for most of those 10 years. I tutor, which I love, and I've been I've chaired committees, particularly our annual gala committee, which is really fun. Yeah, I knew about School on Wheels. I knew Cheryl, being a fellow Easton citizen, and we would get the notice about the backpacks and we'd make out a check and we said, "Oh, this is so nice."
For the viewers at home, Cheryl Opfer was the founder of this
Yes.
wonderful organization, and she recently retired and gave the reins over
Yes.
to
Steve Talismanic
Right.
is our current CEO, and Cheryl is still very much involved with the organization. In fact, she will be there to greet participants on May 7th, along with Brian Shackman, who is an award-winning journalist. He'll be the MC for the event. We're really
That's
excited
great.
about that.
Right.
wonderful. And Carol, so tell me.
So then I heard Cheryl speak at a Rotary Club event, and did not realize the depth and breadth to which School on Wheels goes in terms of changing these kids' lives. It's not just a backpack.
No.
It's being a consistent presence. The tutors and mentors are a consistent presence in the lives of these kids. There's so much inconsistency in the lives of these kids. I have tutored in various situations, and in K through 12, my students have been tutored them in shelters for the homeless, community centers, and at one time hotel lobbies, when that was an alternative for placing families who were homeless. And through it all, the overwhelming keynote was hope with these kids. Kids have hope, and it's our job to be there and be that consistent force and make sure that that hope never dies, never goes out. And let me tell you, every beginning of every school year and the end of every school year, I just get choked up because as much as sometimes these kids complain, like, I'm so tired, yeah, I got homework, but they love it and we love it. And it's just like to see this bond happening.
Now, do you have the same student year after year?
Yes. Well, no, it changes.
It does change.
It changes. As I said, there's a lot of inconsistency in the lives of these kids. So from year to year, from month to month, they don't necessarily know where they're going to be. But these kids have nothing. And yet they are strong, eager, appreciative, and good.
And over the years, so many have gone on to higher education.
Yes. Well, that's interesting. As Mal had mentioned, our mission is to break break the cycle of homelessness. Kids who grow up in homeless situations, there's a 25% rate of high school graduation. In our program, our kids who are homeless, I think we're pretty much at 99% of our kids graduating, with many of them going on to either college or a trade or, an alternative certificate program. That's what we're there for. That's what we want these kids to do.
Now, I've noticed that there's a mentoring program for, is it high school students as well as college students?
It's primarily the college
College.
students, which, Mal, you can talk about that.
Yes, the mentoring program is the third tier of the services that we offer, and it's for high school and college age students. So it's post-secondary. So a student that needs support both with academics, but also with planning. We all know what it's like to fill out those college applications with the variety of options that are out there and the costs of college and secondary training. We will pair these students with a mentor and help them navigate whether or not they're going to college, a trade, an apprenticeship of any sort, but something that will help them with their future and a successful future. And I can't say enough about the mentors and how they are always there. Some of these young adults, young students will go out to a college, and it's the first time that they feel as though they're part of something greater. And they might start to isolate. So they have someone, like some of the other kids will have a parent or a family member. These kids can pick up the phone, call the mentor, and the mentor will be there, show them around the campus, and introduce them to clubs and really get them integrated with the social component of schools. I know that Cheryl, and I'm sure that you were part of this too. It's so heartwarming to see people getting together and literally driving these kids to their college campus, setting up the dorm room so that they have what their peers have. And we're always open for people that are interested in mentoring a student. It's very important.
And I'm sure that mentors help them fill out scholarship applications.
They
Because
help.
that would be a key component, wouldn't it?
That absolutely a key component. And Michael Lombo is our director of mentoring, and he is always looking for people to come on board to help these kids. It's a little, overwhelming, the FAFSA, to see if you're qualified for some financial assistance, and certainly the scholarships. And our mentors are very integral in that process for the kids.
There are two kinds of scholarships. One
Right.
that reward academic accomplishment, and another where children are in desperate need, have no funds.
Oh, right. They're needs-based and also academic performance-based. And there are so many scholarship opportunities out there that our mentors will help unearth those options. There's a knack to it. You really have to roll up your sleeves and say, what scholarships are available, what do I qualify for, and you go for all of them. And it's interesting that you should mention this, because we do have an announcement regarding scholarships that will be made very soon in the coming weeks from very, very generous mentors, a mentor couple that became involved with our mentoring program, saw how it worked, and said, we need we need to pull together a scholarship option right from School on Wheels, and that's in the works right now. And we're sure our CEO Steve Telesmanic will be announcing that over the coming weeks. So stay tuned. And
Tina, tell me how you got involved initially.
A fellow board member at Plymouth County Bar Association, Lee Darst, who was a board member of School on Wheels as well for many years, as well as she's a tutor for School on Wheels. She brought the idea of me joining the board at School on Wheels, and I did some research on School on Wheels of Massachusetts, and I was happy to join. It's just such a great organization, doing great things. I was happy to get my own teen sons involved in filling backpacks and giving back to the community. So I've been a board member of School on Wheels for 2 years now.
Okay. And I'm sure that you're encouraging friends in your social circle to get involved too.
I am, and I think I've found that so many people, once they hear about School on Wheels and what they do, are immediately interested in helping. And it's a great organization where it's easy for teenagers to fulfill their community service hours, because it's easy to schedule. It's something that they can actually do. It doesn't take a lot of skill, but we need the manpower. So it is a great opportunity for high school students to give back to the community and fulfill their community service hours that are needed. So yeah, I've had the opportunity to spread the word to many different organizations. There are members on Bay State Triathlon team who have, for example, just through networking, who have, prompted their churches, their other organizations to give money, time, supplies, tutoring services. So just the networking alone has been, I've been successful in being able to do that, just because I just happen to know so many nice people that want to help.
Nice. Yeah.
Now, Mel, there's quite a few locations now of tutoring sites.
that's right. When Shara founded the organization, she worked right out of her kitchen table in her home in Easton, and was supporting one family shelter in Brockton. And she would have friends and neighbors come over and donate school supplies and backpacks and deliver them. What was born from there was the one-on-one tutoring. Those same friends would sit with a child after school to help them with their homework. That grew from 1 or 2 sites in Brockton to 18 sites today.
That's
so
amazing.
It's we are go from Boston to the South Coast, New Bedford, Fall River. We're in Attleboro, Plymouth, and Norwell. So there are 18 sites. If people go onto our website, www.SOWMA.org, you could see all the places we're located. So many ways to get involved, whether it's through a donation, attending an event, doing a backpack school supply drive, hosting it in your community, or bringing your friends, your church groups, or class into School on Wheels. We put up the music. It is so much fun, and it is just teeming with activity, and it's a wonderful place to be. And Kids Helping Kids is a huge part of that community service, where Barbara Fox is our community outreach director. She's at Boston College High School this afternoon because they have just staged a backpack and supply drive. So she's going in to collect everything, bring it back, and we'll be relaying that to their peers that happen to be less fortunate.
Well, Barbara's a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
She's dynamic, she's creative, she's
Yeah.
resourceful. What else can we say?
Right, right.
Yeah. So the other thing that came to mind, you've got 18 locations all around the state, so that those of you who are watching, you must have friends who are in many of these locations. So why not share this information with your friends who might then like to become a tutor or a mentor or contribute, fill a backpack, start an event, whatever, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we're always looking for tutors. Jonathan Vincent is our education director. He is unstoppable, and he is training tutors all the time. There's always a need. As Carol mentioned, these children and their families move on average of 4 times a year. So when you're moving, you're losing that social connection, and we're all wired for connection. And these kids are moving away from friends, familiarity, teachers, and the pandemic really has weighed heavily on them, just completely isolating them from what they need most, and that's connection with their peers and
Now,
schools.
does School on Wheels get involved in any way with helping the parents, whether it's employment or education or whatever, so that they will not remain homeless?
100%. In fact, we have a shelter in Middleborough, and one of the moms there was there with their 2 sons, and she was just fell on hard times. I mean, there's a stigma associated with homelessness, and that's so unfortunate because it can happen to anybody. The loss of a job, all sorts of reasons. She so much wanted to stand on her own 2 feet and not be in this family shelter because her kids were at that precarious age called middle school. And that's when it hits. It hits because we all have been through middle school, and if you feel as though you're different, and along with the stigma that's associated, that's a really bad combination. So our staff went all out and found her a job. She was able to get an apartment. The kids were not only able to leave this shelter, and the shelter personnel are wonderful, but it's you share a room. So the families share one room, and you need your privacy at that age. Everybody needs your privacy, but that in particular. So one of our taglines is educate kids, empower families, and end homelessness. And the empowering of the family is a very important component of our mission.
And I think that's something that most people don't realize.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
About the organization, yes.
No, about the fact that you're helping the family.
Right.
You're helping them to get jobs, get housing, so that homelessness will not be that stigma.
Yes, and everybody on our staff, whether it's through the tutoring, the mentoring, the community service, are very attuned to that. We have a list of resources that's always evolving, it's always changing, and we maintain those lists so that we have resources available that, we are focused on education and the academic, the social and emotional learning, and empowerment is part of our mission, but if people are needing food or housing or mental health support, we have the resources, so we will channel them to the resources where they can
Yeah, I was
find
going to
some help.
say, we have food pantries And we have My Brother's Keeper here in Easton.
Oh, my goodness,
And I'm sure
absolutely.
that Cheryl got them very interested in the program.
That is our field trip. Every Christmas, our whole staff goes over to My Brother's Keeper, and that's our Christmas gift to each other. We will
Wrap
help
packages.
wrap the packages and
I've
set
been
it
there.
up for delivery.
So tell me, you have to introduce your little
Oh.
pup, Carol.
This is James. He's 6 years old and 6 pounds. And he has done the race. He's a
He's a veteran.
He's a vet. And I did want to show this. So his little legs can't do the almost 3 miles, as you can imagine.
No.
So when I see that it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. In the past, I've used, just like a big tote. But I got a little creative and took this was from past races, the T-shirt, and made him a little dog carrier. So put this over and advertise School on Wheels, and he'll be nice and cozy.
That's great.
But
I like the fringe.
I know, isn't that cute? Before I forget, I did want to mention a couple of things that prior to COVID, and hopefully we will be getting back to it, especially during February vacation, School on Wheels has done game nights, gone to the shelters, and obviously these kiddos aren't going to Disney World for February vacation, so we bring them fresh game, like new games. People donate games, stores donate games, and it's just as I said. These kids and the parents are so appreciative, and to see the looks on their faces when we come in for game night, it's just truly heartwarming, and the kids love it. I'll never forget this parent was like looking at them and said, "This is unbelievable. I know how much these cost. These are like $15, and you're giving this to us." It was just...
I just left the office, and
Yeah.
Chris Margulies
Yes.
is Eastern resident. She went out on her own, got the most beautiful books, and for each book, she hand sewed a pillowcase with the same theme as the book. We must have 100 books. Those will be going out along with the games for
Wow.
April school vacation.
Yes.
So nice.
And we've just put out a request to places like Starland, where all these kids are going to be spending time during April vacation, to get us passes.
Good.
For our kids, and Maplewood Country Day Camp, who will also be part of our Run, Walk, and Wag with children's activities, have been right there for these children. Can't say
Yes.
enough about the generosity and heartfulness of the folks over at Maplewood.
Yes, they have a reputation for being very generous.
Oh, beautiful.
So tell me, how many students do you have in the program? Do you know offhand?
Well, it fluctuates. Right now, as I mentioned, more than 6,000 receive our backpacks and school supplies. We have 93 people, 93 students in our mentoring program. Not all paired with a mentor. Some are just needing, support, other types of support, or help with gas cards and things of that sort. And we have about 250 in our tutoring program.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're always in need of tutors, right?
Always in need of tutors. And we have a summer program coming up that just being put together right now. The most recent one was just delightful when finally it opened up so these kids could be face-to-face with their tutors. One of our education director was able to get hold of a amazing telescope. So with the James Webb tele-launch, where they're looking back to see if they can grab more information and pictures of the Big Bang. It's mind-boggling. These kids, were able to come outside and look for the first time through a telescope. They were fascinated, and it happened to be a full moon. All the stars were out. It was a picture-perfect night.
So,
And,
so that gives me ideas of certain, and it should give the viewing audience too some ideas of contributions that can be given. Telescopes might be one thing,
Totally.
Any supplies.
what else can you
You
think
know
of?
what? In the past, musical instruments
oh, I
have
love
been-
that.
have been donated.
Tina?
Beyond the supplies and the musical instruments, trying to
Art
think.
supplies.
Yes, any art supplies. and-
Kids, I love when after we finish our homework, I love doing art projects with the kids. They just eat it up.
They love
They
the crafts.
love it.
Loves the crafts.
Yes.
Interesting.
And just think of what our own kids, what sparks joy in our own kids. And if you think of that, think about donating or looking into something like that to support the kids that aren't as fortunate and are
So-
living in homeless shelters. We're open to everything.
It could be
If you think of an idea in the shower, pick up the phone and call
Right.
us. Chances are we're going to love it.
Yes.
So board games.
Board games,
Board
sports
games.
equipment, you have
Yeah.
children who
Yes.
want to play sports that can't afford a glove or
One-
a soccer ball or
Right.
cleats or shin pads. You just,
Yeah.
as Mal said, if you
Yeah.
think about what your students did
Right.
day in and day out throughout their, grammar school, middle school, high school lives and what supplies they need, there are many children that can't afford a pair of cleats or,
Correct.
a
How old
glove.
are the youngest children?
As young as kindergarten.
Yes.
Pre-K, we started, we
Okay.
also attend to pre-K.
So maybe children's books might be another
Can
donation.
Yes.
always use books. Yes.
We do get a large amount
Yeah,
of
we do.
books to stuff. Each backpack gets a grade appropriate level book,
Right.
which I think is great.
Yeah.
Sometimes we throw in a few extra, but
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
we throw in a lot of extra.
And
Coloring
obviously,
books,
yeah, during any tutoring session, reading is encouraged. We have a reading program
Yes.
where they, gain points, and then they can, once they hit the goal, if they read 10 minutes after homework's done, they get to pick a prize.
And we're just,
So-
it's very timely, we're just putting together our summer reading bags. So all the students will be getting a bag with lots of things, especially books. And they're all tailored to the grade level of the recipient. So we're
Now-
looking for books right now, we'd love it.
Okay, and I'm sure you're keeping an historical record of all your successes
Oh.
with
Yeah.
picked photographs of students who have gone on to college and so forth.
If you look at our website, you will see all of our recent graduates from 2021, it'll date back, so all of our graduates,
So
Really inspiring.
very
yes.
inspiring.
Well, I know. I think I read a recent one where there was he either graduated law school.
Suffolk.
Yeah, Suffolk.
Yep.
Your law school.
There
Yes.
you go.
Yes.
And
Uh,
he's the assistant district attorney
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
now at Plymouth,
Plymouth County.
County Bar.
So you're changing lives and you're changing the directions of the lives of students, but also their families, which is a wonderful contribution.
Yes, I don't think Mel hit on it when you asked about, I'm not sure if you did or not, when you asked about helping the families. Some of these parents have expressed interest in getting their GED, and there's a program that's it's an extension of the tutoring for the children. The parents have been tutored to succeed.
So you connect with GED programs. So they can,
yes, the
Yes.
School in Wales does. Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And while the student is being tutored by a tutor, the parent is studying with another tutor, or we might call them mentors, to study for the GED. So they take that time together in the early evening to get their homework done.
that's
And
great.
it's
And they
absolutely
they're-
joyful.
They're so grateful.
Yeah.
I did want to mention the fact that a student from Oliver Ames was I guess I mentored her. She expressed an interest when she was in 9th grade to tutor. brilliant young girl, and she came with me once a week to the Old Colony Y in Brockton, and she really she got it. She understood that her being there was saying to these kids that they matter and that their futures matter. And in terms of, you know, what can you donate? About once a month, I would say. She would go through her belongings and find things that were brand new and bring them to give to her students. You would think these kids were given bullions of gold. 2 little girls. And again, appreciative. These kids are so appreciative. In fact, I can relate another situation with Mia. Oh, by the way, she graduated. She's a student at George Washington University. And she wrote a lot. She wrote for the newspaper at OA.
She was president of SOWMA Club.
She was president of the SOWMA Club. She was so involved. I don't believe it's moot court, but there is a club which was sort of a moot court. She excelled. Started off shyly, like, oh, I don't know if I should be doing, to like, doing, defense and like.
So, Carol, the influence of that experience
Yes.
was profound in her own life.
In her own life, yes. One of the most touching moments, it was the end of the year, and a student, Mia had been tutoring, 12, 13, kind of a tough nut to crack. Understandably so, some of these kids, especially at that age. And so the last day he showed up, went into his pocket, took out 2 quarters. He said, "This is all I have, but I want to give it to you."
Wow.
So, again, I can't say it enough. These kids appreciate, and they're good.
And then
positive.
you're the one who gets all the joy.
Oh, I can't even tell you. They have taught me.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank
far more.
all of you for participating in today's community forum. And I just love your enthusiasm and your creativity and devotion, dedication to a cause that is just remarkable.
Can I say one
Sure.
thing? This is a problem. Our nation has a problem with homelessness, families experiencing homelessness. So it's a problem. And I just wanted to quote James Baldwin, prolific writer and genius leader for social justice. And it says, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." Let's continue to face this and hopefully one day end the cycle of homelessness.
Well, on that note,
And speaking of social justice, the Martin Richard Institute
Yes.
for Social Justice out of Bridgewater State University. Bridgewater State University is a phenomenal partner with us in terms of interns, supplying us with so much support in all of our programs, tutoring, mentoring, and our backpack and supply programs. The Martin Richard Institute for Social Justice at BSU has a chorus, and they will be singing the national anthem on May 7th.
Can't wait.
It is not to be missed.
Yeah.
It's
what time will that happen?
that will happen at the start of the race, which is 9 o'clock, and registration. The doors open, the gates open at 8 to pick up your T-shirt, to get your bib, and for the runners, they will be timed by RaceWire. So it's a race not only for families and walkers and dog lovers, but serious runners like
Sponsors. The sponsors.
that's great. Yes, and this. Do you want me to name them?
Yeah.
No.
I think.
There's so many.
We have
that-
so many wonderful sponsors.
We have so many wonderful stuff. Our bell, yeah, they're
It's
gonna
a
cut that because I just
fun-
wasn't expecting.
And
it.
we're-
I
So
thought
much
you wanted
fun.
to mention that. so.
Oh, yeah, no, there are so many, I think, they were just rolling in today, that's why I'm a little,
Where should somebody meet? Is it near the visitor center?
yes, you
Yes.
come right in.
The main
Yeah.
parking
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
There'll be plenty of signage
Yeah.
there.
Okay, good.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
And it's not just fun for the people, but it'll be fun for the dogs,
Yes.
the pups too.
Yes.
Well, thank you,
Okay,
Tina, Carol, Mal. Thank you so much, and our audience thanks you. Please look at the information that's going to be posted at the end of this discussion, and be a generous donor. Think about how you can contribute. What are your talents? What are your generous? How does your generosity work in a situation like this? How can you please the student? And how can you please yourself and get some joy out of helping those who are in great need? Thank you for watching. This is your Community Forum show. Until next time, be well.